How long does email delivery take? Hi, everyone. Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's a question I got. How long does email delivery typically take? What are the most common ranges? And two, how long does it actually take, more or less, for the mailer daemon at my email host or whatever to find the addressee mailbox is full, the addressee is unknown or otherwise undeliverable, such as address misspelled? Three, where the addressee data seems valid, how long will the mailer daemon at my email host keep trying? Answers to these questions might be of general interest to people frequently replying to pen pals. I'm guessing it's really only the answer to number one that most people will be interested in, but I'll hit the other two as well. People have very high expectations of email, and most of the time those expectations are met. However, what's considered allowed behavior might surprise you. Computers are fast. The internet is fast. So it's no surprise that most of the time email is fast. It's not uncommon for email to be delivered and ready to be read or downloaded in mere seconds after the sender hits send. I've seen it myself, sending email from one of my accounts to another. A few minutes is probably more common. A few hours is quite possible. Here's the surprise. A few days is also possible and quite acceptable behavior. So, your email could take seconds or it could take days. Most of the time, delivery is closer to seconds than days, and we're typically happy with the time it takes for email to get from point A to point B. So, what might tip the scales? What might cause an email to take hours or even days to reach a recipient? There's a bunch of possibilities. Spam. Some spam prevention mechanisms actually cause these delays on purpose. For example, the first time someone sends a message to a particular recipient, that recipient's mail server may say, in effect, "I'm too busy for you right now, come back later," even if they're not busy at all. This technique, known as gray listing, actually prevents a fair amount of spam, as many spam bots won't come back later. They just move on to their next target. Legitimate mailers, on the other hand, will wait a while and try again, at which point the email is accepted. The length of the delay varies quite a bit depending on the sending server. I've seen it be a few minutes and I've seen it be a few hours. Once the sender has successfully sent their message again after the delay, the recipient's server typically does not impose that delay again. It's a one-time thing per sender. Spam, number two. Mail servers can sometimes be brought to their knees by an incoming flood of spam. The server can't keep up and legitimate email can be delayed. The spam problem is huge, and I believe this is fairly common. I've seen it from time to time with big email services and with mailing list providers. Email typically makes it through eventually, but with added delay. Failures. Hardware breaks, machines fail, networks fail, servers crash. It's just as true for mail servers as it is for the computers you and I use every day. Then they get repaired. Mail servers are designed to understand that some types of errors are temporary. When that happens, say they can't connect to the recipient's mail server because it's offline, they keep trying until the error gets resolved. In this case, the delay can be up to 5 days. You may have seen bounce messages that say, in effect, "Hey, I've tried for 5 days and I couldn't get through. I'm giving up." Load. Sometimes mail servers just get overloaded with legitimate email. This happens from time to time, particularly with mailing list services or mail servers that are under-provisioned, meaning that the server isn't really powerful enough to perform the task in a timely fashion. Email delays can also be our own fault for several reasons. Occasionally, we compose a message and forget to hit send. It's not until we notice and do so that the email actually gets sent, and yes, I'm guilty of this. On occasion, someone might write their email while not connected to the internet. The message isn't actually sent until after they do connect. At the other end, if someone only checks their email every 3 days, you might see what looks like a 3-day delay. As you can see, there are many legitimate reasons email can get delayed. The good news is that if it can be delivered, typically it will be eventually. Even better news is that most of the time, it's pretty darned quick. You just might not be able to count on it. All right, mailer demons. A mailer daemon is just software, a computer program that runs in the background on mail servers to deliver and otherwise process email. Mailer daemons typically process email very quickly, so decisions on whether or not an email address is valid or a mailbox is full are extremely fast. Less than a couple of seconds, if even that. How long a mail server will keep trying to deliver an otherwise legitimate email depends on the specific problem that's preventing the delivery, the decisions made by the author of the server software, and the configuration choices made by the mail server administrator. Typically, failures will either be immediate, if it's clear that the problem is something permanent, or within several days, if it's something that might resolve itself over time. It's important also to realize that failure, be it immediate or after delay, may or may not generate a bounce or an error message in return. In other words, it's frequently the case that errors happen, but you never know. The message simply disappears. So remember that while email is typically very quick, it was designed at a time when lengthy delays were common. The system is very tolerant of certain types of failures, meaning that the email messages aren't guaranteed to arrive quickly. If you do need quick communication and email doesn't seem to be working fast enough for you, the best solution is to find an alternative, such as one of the many instant messaging apps. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/3501. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.